Hello everybody, it's your favorite West Virginia on Space here, and Velma. Well, the show, it's a bit of a mess. Really, okay, I'm trying to be honest here. The trailers, the promotional images, it all made it look bad. You can look at my old videos, you can easily see that. I agree with that, the sentiment of the time. But I tried to go into the first episode with an open mind. I was gonna give the show a fair shake. Maybe the promotional images were bad. No, the show's pretty bad. There was exactly two things I can really compliment. One is that the animation was pretty smooth. The art style could have used some work, but it was smooth at least. I give credit there, especially during the hallucination sequences. And Shaggy was very briefly funny for exactly 2 moments. So, that's something, I guess. I mean, it wasn't his main joke, I think, but whatever. Okay, that's the good. Let's get into the bad, sadly. Okay, and I normally don't like to talk about this kind of stuff, especially this early in a video, but this video is for 13 up, and I'm reviewing an adult show, so you know where I'm going. Okay, listen, I'm not a big fan of, sexual stuff in media 9 times out of 10, generally. It's just not my thing, and I think it's way overdone in modern media, but listen, there's overdone, and then there's this. First minute in the story. And I'm going into it so early because this is how randomly it comes at you, okay? In the first minute of the show, we see 2 cockroaches go at it. 2 cockroaches. Or cockroach-type bugs. It's do we need that? Does it add anything? It's not even entertaining. It's not funny. It's just, look, we have 2 cockroaches having sex. Oh, we entertaining. And then somehow ones up itself because at least that was just weird. This is okay. The Scooby-Doo gang has always had kind of inconsistent ages. It's always fluctuated between late teens to college years-ish. I mean, some continuities explicitly take place during high school, see Mystery Inc., but a lot of them at least seem to or logically would be set when they're adults. So, the fact that this is one of the few pieces of Scooby-Doo media that explicitly has them in high school when it has a whole bunch of them in the shower doing stuff, I skipped that part a little bit because I just won't. You know what I mean? But it's yes, let's really sexualize these high school girls. That's, I know it's just a thing that we kind of accept as media, but this just takes it to a level that was just, why? They're most of the time college age anyway. Just set it in college and this problem becomes a whole lot less bad. But you didn't, for reasons beyond my understanding. And it's just, and this is gonna come a point later, but it points out how cliche, hey, do you notice the first episodes of our show are way more sexual than the rest of the series? It's yeah, I hate that. It's yeah, this is gonna become a problem later, so put a pin on that. But yeah, that was uncomfortable, and now you are uncomfortable, so let's move on a little bit. How about we talk about the characters a little bit? That sounds way better. So Velma, our main lead, is quite frankly, a horrible person. I couldn't tell you really one redeeming quality about her. Really, she's not even particularly intelligent. At least not as far as I can see. I've yet to see her do one thing in the episode that could be described as intelligent. And she's just awful person. Really, listen, clearly you've been bullied a lot, but she seems to legitimately want a lot of people dead. And, that's kind of funny when you have, a character like the Joker or Harley Quinn going, ha ha ha, I can't wait to kill my opponent. But it's Velma killing people. That she really seems into that. Do we need to have a talk, Velma? Do I need to call a therapist? And, she's just annoying. She does this a lot where she'll point out something, stupid going on in the writing, but, acknowledge the fact that it's bad writing, but not, in a fourth wall breaking way. And, she just feels kind of entitled a lot of times, even though I don't know if that's explicitly what you would call it, but she feels entitled a lot. Just a lot. And then there's Shaggy, who, yes, let's make Shaggy a drug addict, completely destroy the point of his character, and make him black at the same time. Because that isn't highly questionable. And no, as far as I know, he doesn't do drugs in this episode, but he was looking it up, and I know because based on promotional period, they said that he's supposed to become a drug addict, and that's how his name goes from Norville to Shaggy. But like, outside of that, he's just not an interesting character. Really, Norville or Shaggy in the show has nothing really going for him. Like, he seems to really want to be with Velma, which is interesting change, I must admit, because I think really a change is that in Mystery Inc., what most people think of, it was Velma going after Shaggy, but in the live-action movie, Swamp Monster, whatever it was Shaggy going after Velma, although Velma was way more interested in that story, and that movie the healthiest relationship between Velma and Shaggy I've ever seen in a piece of media. But, like, Velma just stomps on this guy's heart so hard, it's not even funny. Like, okay, it is kind of funny, actually. It was one of the few moments I laughed. Actually, pretty much the only moment I laughed. Well, not really laugh, more of a chuckle. But, it was just really mean-spirited on her end, because it was so blatantly obvious. There's no way in a million years she wouldn't have recognized that. So, yeah, she knew what she was doing. And then there's Daphne, who's just kind of a non-entity in this episode, which is ironic because, and, like, she's just bizarre. Like, it's like you took Daphne's pretty much always been the least developed as main Scooby-Doo cast member in pretty much every series ever. But, like, in this, you took what little bit she had in pretty much any series and just removed it and placed it with mean girl bitch stereotype. Like, literally, I swear we could replace her with any, like, generic high school jerk and, like, the plot wouldn't change. The only thing that's slightly different is that she was Velma's friend before, all this. And then there's Fred. Oh, Fred. What have they done to you? I was going to make a video about how they've been slowly character assassinating Fred ever since Zombie Island, and that was going to be a whole discussion, but the TLDR is that they've been slowly, like, making Fred more and more of a joke by removing his redeeming qualities, to the point it's way out of balance with the other cast members, and this show takes it to the nth degree. Like, I just can't imagine this Fred becoming anything like the Fred we all know and love, because this guy is literally worthless. There is exactly one moment it shows any kind of redeeming quality, and he ruins it. He is a selfish, spoiled jerk who, and what's weird is every now and again, it's almost like the writers want you to feel bad for him, because he has some bad things going on. As they occasionally point out, his illness of not being able to recognize hot people, whatever that is apparently at least partially legit, I think, and it seems to actually bother him. Like, I don't know how you would work it into the story, but that'd be something at least. But then they just ruin that, and then he hasn't gone either fully or through puberty, and it's just like, why? Like, Fred's supposed to be like the macho leader of the team, right? That's kind of like his thing. He's the all-American guy. That's kind of his gimmick. One of his gimmicks. And it's just, I don't mean to focus too much on Fred. We're getting to Velma, but that's more in the main plot section. And for side characters, there just isn't really that much. Velma's parents exist. There's those two lesbian cops who I think are I think they're Daphne's moms. I think I think that's right. Who also apparently don't understand how telling sensitive information works. That's charming. And let's move on to another section about the actual main plot and writing. And the main plot of the episode is, actually, I'm not really going to go into and give you a point-by-point play, because you can watch it yourself if you feel like torturing thyself. Also, tell me how it feels playing Wraith the Oblivion, where everyone's playing your shadow. Anyway, so, it's basically the main plot is supposed to kind of be a murder mystery of who done it, who's been cutting open people's and taking their brains and trying to flame it on Velma. Well, I say main plot, as in, like, that's what it would be about, but it's really more about Velma being a horrible, horrible human being, and really everyone around her also being a horrible human being, but she especially often. And, like, there was just, like, the main plot would be relatively basic. It's about to be basic, kind of, so at least for what we can tell so far, who done it, like, who's gonna do it. And no, we don't know, we get revealed who the killer is. So, I guess he's, rather than the first episode antagonist, he's, like, the main antagonist or something, I guess. But they don't really focus on the mystery element, despite being a mystery show. It's mostly just an excuse to tell adult jokes or what I like to call subversive writing. Or how this show more accurately could be put, it's like they'll point out, like, this seriously, like, I swear, every time a bad plot point comes up in this show, which is pretty much every minute, they will point out, wow, this is cliche, or wow, this is bad, and then it will continue to go on. Like, this is the same problem that She-Hulk had occasionally, where it was like, yes, you pointed out that your writing sucks, but that does not make your writing good. But acknowledging that, in fact, if anything, it makes it worse, because if you write something bad, like, like, let's say some fan fiction, like, a lot of fan fiction is written by people who legitimately just don't know how to write good stories, and that's, that's sad, but it's not, like, they just gotta learn, and it's okay, because they legitimately don't know better. But when you acknowledge the fact that your writing is bad, you then are admitting that this story sucks, or this plot point is bad, but then, oh yeah, we didn't do anything about it, by the way. So it's not even like, so like that doesn't pace out, and it's not framed like, and it's supposed to be, I guess, subversive, where it's like, look, we changed your expectations. I mean, like, dude, at least most cringy shows own their cringe. I mean, I haven't seen Riverdale, but what little I have seen, but I don't think it ever tried to convince anyone it was terribly much, and then, this is the story itself, like, one of the main plot points in this episode is that Velma gets hallucinations whenever I say hallucinations because it's not really quite clear what it is, but I'm going to go with that because that's what's called in the show, whenever she tries to solve a mystery, because, and get this, okay, I'm going to tell you the structure of this event. She clumsily explains her backstory, where she liked to solve mysteries because her mother was a mystery writer, and then one time when Velma was younger and accidentally discovered her Christmas presents early, her mom went out to go get a Christmas present and then never came back. And so she blames herself for that. Okay, I don't know how that explains the hallucinations, but I'm not a psychologist, but okay, that's a character motivation. We get that. We can see why, and that could be the main focus of the show, trying to find Velma's mom. Or the main plot could link into it somehow. That's decent writing. However, it's relatively quickly revealed that, no, that's not what happened at all. Velma was an absolute terror who, at the very least, stole her mother's alcohol at some point and literally ruined a very important book for her and sprayed water in her face so hard that one of her eyes popped out. And is still out, by the way. Like, I don't think it's ever fixed. I think it's just a fake eye. And, like, and then, like, it says that, oh, yeah, the mother just left her kid, left her family, because, oh yeah, her husband, Velma's dad sucks, because, we can't have father figures in animation be good. They just can't be good people. But, and then it's revealed that Velma just basically misremembered all the good times, because she was horrible, everything was horrible, and nothing was good. And then it's supposed to get with hallucinations, but it doesn't, because Velma says she still feels guilty about what, I'm not entirely sure, but... And then she says at the end, but I'm sure my mom's thought, I'm sure there's a mystery behind. What mystery? You just clearly explained it. You write as flip-flop on what you want, and then it just subverts it. It's like, oh, you thought Velma had this tragic backstory of, like, wanting to find her mom? No, it doesn't actually exist. If Velma sucks, it's like, why? How does all of this work? And there's just so much of it where you think they're doing something, or they try to take it seriously for a second, and then they just ruin it with a bad joke or trying to be subversive, and characters just not making sense. And the entire plot goes at like a breakneck speed, but at the same time doesn't. It's like imagine if you took like a stereotypical high school movie about a nerd, okay? Specifically a female nerd. And it's like, she's like, not very popular, but she has a crush on the popular guy, and then something draws her out, and then, like, she gets socially blamed for something, and then she tries to be pretty, and then, like, all this stuff. Oh, and of course, the infamous scene with, like, a shower. That's nothing. It's like, they have this moment in the episode where Velma is in the bathroom, and Daphne and her clique, come up to basically threaten her, which, for reasons, and then, like, they keep going on for, like, a minute where this one character is in the bathroom, they keep flushing the toilet, and they walk past the wash, and it's like, and you ruined any tension in the scene, and then it's like, oh, but we have to get to school. It's like, no, this will, and then the bell rings, like, all the tension just gone. It's like they took any scene that was gonna be done, and then subverted it to sound cool and interesting. And it's just so bad. It's like, why? And in many ways, it's pretty much everything wrong with modern writing in so many ways. But yeah, that was the Velma. That was the first episode of the Velma show. I don't know if I'm gonna be reviewing any more of this because it just sucks, and I'm not really a review channel. But I just had to talk about it. I talked about the trailer and promotional too much to not actually talk about the show, and it was a massive disappointment. Like, it was so preachy, it had so much bad writing, and it was like a fan fiction that got made, except it was merged with another fan fiction, and like bad, it was then merged with the commentary about it. It's like, how did this get approved? How would this get approved? But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time. Yeah? Hey, why don't you hit that sub button? You're gonna become a subscriber. Get to see my content quicker. Wouldn't that be nice? I bet so.